how do you create affordable housing? This is one of those holy grail questions. If I knew the answer, I would be doing a different job and probably much more comfortably situated. But the reality is there are a couple of ways that you can do this. One is you can build at significant densities so that the number of units produces enough cash flow that you can price each unit much lower than you would otherwise. A second is to build in places where either construction costs are low, land costs are low, or labor costs are low. Right? And so that cost structure can then allow for a pricing of the units whereby a developer can make a return and still keep prices low. A third way is to subsidize the development. So in the United States, we do, through the tax credit program and other types of programs, provide affordable housing developers with lower costs of capital. And that lower cost allows, again, for the building of units that have lower price points. I think some of the keys for making affordable housing projects successful, one is definitely design. Right? So we have to design these projects in ways that map into how people live, that create defensible spaces so we don't have enclaves where bad things can happen, that are positioned close to amenities, if not having the amenities on site, but close enough to the things that people need to have access to, and that have some element of open space so that there is the opportunity for being out, being in the world, and being able to interact and engage with people. All those things are important. And I would also say having some infrastructure in place that allows the residents access to the wide range of places where those amenities might play out. So, this would be having transit opportunities or easy linkages to neighborhoods that have this diversity of amenities in place. How you create new supply in the face of real hard land constraints is a challenge that we're trying to grapple with. And part of that's going to have to be repositioning certain buildings and structures to convert them from perhaps other uses into housing. Another strategy is going to have to be taking existing housing and reimagining it in denser configurations so that we have more units in place. Well, there are a number of different examples. I mean, you could think about New York City, where they've, there is a mix of housing already in New York. More recently, they have taken a commitment to build, I think, 100,000 new units that promotes income mixing through things like inclusionary zoning codes, whereby if you build new housing, you have to set aside a certain percentage for lower income people. So you, by rule, have this income mix. You can think about the city of Seattle and King County, which has gone through a significant urban planning process whereby they directly grappled with fair housing issues, social policy, ethnic and income mixing, and got communities really to understand and recognize that this sort of integration is in their interests. Well, I think that one of the real interesting aspects of Australia is Australia really does have a tradition of taking the best in other places, actually thinking about other places, which doesn't always happen in the U.S., but then really trying to adapt those best practices to the local reality. And a recognition that we're all in this together. We all are facing similar problems and challenges. And there are insights to be learned from everyone. And that's one of the reasons why I've come here to visit, to learn from the Australian experience.